This is a podcast from Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. Welcome to Word from the Third, where we'll be taking a look at all the big stories and news from the third sector here in Torfaen. And on this edition, talking with Ellen and Larry from the Senedd. So tell me about your role and why are you speaking with us today?
So hi Patrick, I'm Lowry and this is Ellen. We're both from the engagement team at the Welsh Parliament, most commonly known as the Senedd. And I'll let Ellen say a quick hello, I can hear her there.
Thanks for having us.
We work with groups across Wales, both community groups, individuals, schools and youth groups to spread the word about the Senedd, what it is, how it works, what members of the Senedd do. And we want to really let people know that their vote is really important and is one of the ways you can make your voice heard. So we're specifically here today really to let people know about the Senedd Elections that we have coming up in May and the different sessions that we have available for people to get involved in. But hopefully the information on the podcast today will give some sort of key information ahead of the elections in May.
You said then about the Senedd, but what exactly is the Senedd? I know, but can you explain it a little bit more?
Sure. So Wales has had its very own law-making history for a long time, going back to the 10th century. Wales came under English rule in 1282 and later became a member of the United Kingdom in 1801. Hence why we have a parliament in Westminster and the people of Wales elect MPs to represent them there. But back in the 20th century in Wales, people in Wales were calling for a referendum to decide if decisions over certain issues should be made in Wales for Wales. This process is called devolution. Wales said yes in 1997 and in 1999 the National Assembly for Wales was born. Back then the Assembly had very limited powers to make laws. But in another referendum in 2011, the people of Wales voted for more law-making powers. On the 6th of May 2020, a law came into force which changed the name of the National Assembly for Wales to the Welsh Parliament, commonly known as the Senedd, to reflect the role has grown. So now the Senedd represents the people of Wales, makes laws for Wales, agrees Welsh taxes and controls many issues that affect our day-to-day lives. The law also lowered the voting age for Senedd elections. This means that 16 and 17 roles now have a say over who represents them.
Now you said about the 6th of May, what's happening then and what's actually changed since the last election that we had?
So the 6th of May is actually the Senedd Elections. So the Senedd Elections normally take place once every 5 years, where the people of Wales will have an opportunity to vote for people to represent their local and regional areas in the Senedd. People will become sort of members of the Senedd. Ellen, would you like to explain how the eligibility has changed since the last election?
Of course, yeah. Thanks, Lodi. So since the last election in 2016, there was a law passed last year which has changed eligibility for voting at the Senedd election. So for the first time, 16 and 17-year-olds now have a say over who represents them. The vote has also been extended to qualifying foreign citizens. If you're unsure if you can vote, there is an eligibility tool on the Electoral Commission's website, which is a good place to start if you have any questions or queries. If you haven't registered to vote yet, then you can do so on the government's website before the April 19th deadline.
What exactly are we voting for then?
The Welsh Government is responsible for making decisions on many of the issues that affect our day-to-day lives. The UK Parliament makes laws on certain issues that affect the whole of the UK, including nuclear energy, foreign affairs and defence. In Wales, we can make laws on issues that aren't reserved to the UK Parliament. These include issues like education, healthcare, the environment, culture and language and transport. The Welsh Government proposes ideas for laws and makes decisions on how to spend around £17 billion a year on subjects like these and many more. The job of the other members of the Senedd is to consider, debate and vote on the laws proposed and money spent by the Welsh Government and make suggestions on steps that should be taken to make Wales a better place to live and work in. Since 1999, some significant laws have been passed that have helped make Wales a leading country for recycling, given the Welsh language official status and made significant changes to the organ donation system. Now, if you want more information, we offer a series of sessions and you can find these on our website, so Education and Youth Engagement for the Senedd.
Now, if I vote on the 6th of May, how does my vote work?
So there are 60 members which are elected from all over Wales to the Senedd. As I mentioned, they're We're known as members of the Senedd, or MS for short. There are 40 elected to represent small areas, and these are called constituencies, and then another 20 on top of those, and they represent bigger areas, which we call regions. When we vote in the Senedd elections, we all have 2 votes each. The first vote is for someone to represent your constituency, which is said like for your local area, and the second for someone to represent your region. So all in all, maybe some people don't realise, but we have 5 members of the Senedd that represent you in the Senedd. So that's 1 representative for your constituency or local area, and 4 then that represents your wider region. This makes it more likely that at least 1 member will be from either a party you support and or share your views on a particular issue. So you've got multiples to go and talk to.
What do members of the Senedd do, and how do they hold Welsh Government to account?
So the members of the Senedd have multiple roles. For example, they represent people in their constituency or region. They also hold surgeries to discuss issues with people in their local area. In the Senedd, they meet with other members to discuss debate and vote on issues relating to things like health, education and the environment. So they also suggest amendments or changes to bills, which are called draft laws, and then they vote to decide if bills should become acts, if a proposal should become law, that is, in Wales. They also sit on different committees. Now, these committees are quite important because they investigate different issues by speaking with experts, the public and Welsh Government ministers before making recommendations for change to the Welsh Government. So the committees include Health, Social Care and Sports Committee, Children, Young People and Education Committee, and the Climate Change, Environment and Rural Affairs Committee, to name but a few. So every week, in what we call plenary meetings, where all 60 members of the Senedd meet together, members of the Senedd question the First Minister and other government minister on the decisions they make, ensuring their decisions are in the best interest of their own constituents.
Tell me more about what happens after the election.
Okay, so after an election, normally the party with the most seats will usually form the Welsh Government. However, parties can also decide to form a government together. So this is known as a coalition. One of the main things that members, one of the first things that members will do is to choose a presiding officer. And they're the ones that will chair meetings in the Senedd. They will also need to choose a First Minister of Wales, and they will lead the Welsh Government. The First Minister will decide, with the approval of the Queen, which members of the Senedd should join the Welsh Government as Welsh Ministers. And then after that, the work begins.
Now, after the election, how can everybody else get their voice heard?
So there's lots of different ways you can have your voice heard, and we're really keen to emphasise that, young people's voice goes way beyond the ballot box. So you can contribute to committee inquiries, or you can present a petition, and there's a petition website where you can present a specific statement and then get people to sign that petition. A few examples of successful petitions include the 22,000 young people that signed the petition on exam results last year. You might remember stories surrounding that, and that was a successful petition and campaign outside the Senedd building that actually got a reversal from the government, a U-turn on exam results to teacher mark grades. Another example is Ysgol Wern. They presented 1,000 signatures on a petition to ban plastic bottles from schools, and as a result this led to a government consultation to ban up to 9 single-use plastic items. So there's lots of purpose for the petition. You only need 50 signatures for it to be considered, and then 10,000 for it to be discussed in plenary meetings. The other way you can get involved, which I've been particularly involved with along with the education team, is the Welsh Youth Parliament. The first ever Welsh Youth Parliament term has just come to an end, and at the end of the year there's another election which will be held to elect the new Welsh Youth Parliament members. So there'll be 60 members, exactly like the adult setup, and those Youth Parliament members will be between 11 and 18 years old. There'll be 40 of those members elected to represent constituencies, just like the members of the Senedd, and will then be partnering with organisations who work with a range of young people across Wales to elect the other 20 members. So some of the organisations we've partnered with last time included Race Council Cymru and the Ethnic Youth Support Team, Barnados, Talking Hands, who work with deaf young people and their families, the Urdd and Learning Disability Wales. Anyone can stand, and the election will be held entirely online. Information on how to stand will be shared when we launch officially at the end of May. We'll share our email hello@youthparliament.wales, and if you want information you can either email us or also got some videos to show highlights from the last Youth Parliament.
Lots of information there. How exactly can any book a session? How can they get in touch with you?
Patrick, we've gone through lots of information really quickly with everyone. So if you are interested to find out more about the Senedd, its members, and specifically the Senedd election that's coming up in May, then as we've mentioned through this podcast, we have various engagement sessions that you can get involved with. You've got an introduction to the Senedd elections. We've also got trainer sessions, and also sessions that are bespoke to you. So if there's any of these that you fancy joining, then please get in touch with us on our website, or also you can book directly by emailing us at contact@senedd.wales, or visit our website for some more information. We are on all the social media platforms. Just look out for us at Senedd Wales or Senedd Cymru, and you can find out all the latest information about our sessions and also any events that we have going on between now and then. If you are interested in the work of the committees, as Ellen mentioned earlier, most committees have social media accounts as well you can follow and keep up to date with. So there's lots of information and ways that you can get involved and keep in touch with the Senedd.
Ellen and Larry, diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah,
Patrick. Thank you.
And don't forget, if you want to contact TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance, for anything regarding the third sector here in Torfaen, get in touch regarding funding, volunteering, any kind of support or governance. info@tvawales.org.uk. You can also find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @TVA Wales, or of course on the website. It's all there at tvawales.org.uk. This podcast is produced by TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance.